But welcome, 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 welcome. So good to have you here. Those of you who are here, and then those of you who are watching on the replay. There's lots of us out there, and you're part of that. So it's nice to see friendly faces, and good to be with you. So this is the info session. This is the info session for the Core Skills Trauma Certificate Program. Yeah, and if you want, okay, you can hear me perfectly. I'm always curious to hear how or hear where people are coming in from. So if you're willing to maybe even type into the chat where you're coming in from, I'm always curious. It's sometimes a worldwide community. Indianapolis, wow, that's great. Florida, Philly, Amsterdam, sounds perfect. Jersey, Florida, California, couple Californias, New York, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Austria. What time is it in Austria? Thank you for staying up late. Stockholm. Okay. Calgary, Alberta, Africa. My goodness. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oxford. I studied in Oxford. Turkey. Hey there. Welcome. Yeah, thanks. We've got representation all around Finland, Europe, England. I feel bad for the Australia people. They're kind of people. It's really late at night, but thank you for showing up from wherever you are, right? And it's just kind of we're a worldwide community, right? A worldwide connectedness, and just nice to kind of take that in a little bit, take it in. Um, so so let me just ask. I mean, I'm assuming that people are here because how many people know me or have seen me or heard me, or okay, so many people, but how many people haven't? Like, who am I? Like some random dude, okay, so most people seem to know me. Okay, so maybe I don't have to introduce myself so much, but I'm Dr. Albert Wong, and I'm the director of this whole thing, the director of the Trauma Certificate Program, the founder of Somatopia. I used to direct a somatic psychology program at John F. Kennedy University. So how many people here have taken my little, I guess, somatic approaches to trauma class before? Kind of a number of people. Okay, cool. Okay. How many people have seen me at a summit or something like that? Is that kind of okay? So some people. Okay, it's kind of well. All right. Yeah. How many people here? I guess you're all here interested in. You believe that that's the class you're in? Okay, great. Yeah. So how many people here, I guess, are therapist types of people, healer helper kind of types? Okay, so number of hands kind of going up. Okay, how many people here are like maybe coaches or I don't know, like or here for like maybe personal development type things? Okay, so some people are here for that reason. Okay, so neurogenic facilitator and coach and physician, clinical psychologist. Okay, lots of different representations. So you're all welcome. You're all welcome. Okay. So so it's nice to just get a sense of the group, and yeah. So today, and why don't I go ahead and turn down the little elevator music? It's nice, kind of calms me a little and settles me, because it's like I always get a little nervous in front of people. But today we're going to talk about this trauma certificate program and why I think it's special, and to hopefully answer any questions you might have about it. You know, I used to run a trauma certificate program at John F. Kennedy University, and it was my honor to do so. And I loved it, but I always felt like it deserved a wider community, a wider audience. And so I wrangled up the top faculty from that program, and am excited to share it with you. Okay, so there's a little bit, you know, I'll talk a little bit about the program, and what I think makes us so special, um, and then, you know, there'll be a little bit of a spiel, and then there'll be time for questions and answers. Okay, but the first thing I think I'll do is I'll share a little video from one of our faculty members that describes what I think is super special. There's actually two videos, and this video is from Sheila Rubin, who's one of our, I guess, she's teaching one of our classes on shame. She's a nationally recognized expert in how to heal shame. But the way she teaches is so compelling to me, and it really embodies the philosophy of how we aspire to teach at Somatopia, which is teaching from the inside out. Okay, there's lots of training programs out there that teach almost from the outside in. There's information, and you learn the information. But here, one of our distinguishing features is we try and teach from the inside out, and we learn from the inside out. So here's a little video just to introduce you to Sheila, but also to describe our underlying philosophy. So here we go. Okay.
I took this class when I was in Portland, Oregon, called Moving from the Inside Out. And I remember it was like, I remember seeing it as like, what could that possibly be? It didn't even make any sense to me at that time. And then I took the class and it was like, oh, you find inside and then you move from that place. And so that's, you know, your question about the felt sense, you know, focusing, and Ron Kurtz's Hakomi, you know, which, you know, includes that felt sense. It's like, I think I learned it first from that class of like dancing from the inside out. It's like, where is that felt sense in there? And breathe into it. And then find the small dance in there. And then expand the small dance in there. And just the bigger, you know, just that bigger conversation of, you know, self to body, and then, you know, self to world. And I just, you know, it's profound, and I teach it, and I have a lot of clinical, you know, clinical ways of, you know, describing the neurotransmitters and the mirroring and all of that stuff, and the attachment and all of that. But it's like, I think what it comes down to me is like, you know, can I teach the students to feel inside themselves before they speak in class, or as they're speaking in class, so that it's actually, you know, like this. It's like connected. And that's what I love to do.
Yeah, so Sheila Rubin is a gem, right? So there's this notion of kind of listening inside and tuning in, right, to what's inside as this kind of relational something, right? Okay, so I see some nods of a head. So there's kind of a teaching is a relational thing that happens between you and me, that happens inside you, right? It's not just information that comes in. There's a, how does this land right inside me? How does this feel inside me? Right? It's not just information. It's kind of a certain kind of internal transformation that we're going for. Okay. And that leads me to another distinguishing aspect, I think, of our program, which is the need for us to do our own work, right? That there is no separation between becoming a healer in the world and needing to do the work that we are here that we've been given to do. Like it's, we can only take people as far as we've gone, and to encapsulate that, here's a little excerpt from another faculty member that we have on board, Nirali DaCosta. So she taught for me at JFK, and this was part of why I adore her so much, because of some of these shared beliefs. Okay, so yeah. So
I'd like to add one more thing, actually. I also really appreciated about my experience at JFK the emphasis on personal process, and I think that that's also really important for the students that are going through it. That in order to be a skilled therapist, one has to have done their own work, and I don't think that that's as strong of a component in a lot of other master's in counseling psychology programs, where here there's the requirement for people to be in individual therapy, and there's a huge emphasis on personal process in the academic setting as well.
Did you feel some of that kind of working through you during your own journey?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it was a hugely transformative time in my life. You know, just of course looking deeper at myself, you know, my own family history, my upbringing, the way that that's affected who I am today and in my relationships. And then I think also just the experience of empowerment, of having felt like I'd found my academic home and just my kind of my professional language. I don't know if professional is really the word I want to use as much as my theoretical language, you know, that could make sense of, you know, the work that I was most interested in, and the kinds of life experiences that I'd had.
okay. Yeah. So that's another of our faculty members, Nirali DaCosta, and that kind of embodies the spirit of, like, you know, we have to be in our own work and our own process. Okay. So so I have a little, I don't know, official-ish presentation, so I thought I'd do that, but I mostly want to get to questions, but I think that maybe as I go through the things, feel free to ask questions or to chime something into the chat, and I'll try and get to those as I can. But I thought I'd go ahead and just dive into the little the spiel here. Okay, so, but it's, yeah, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's nice to see smiling faces and friendly faces. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, so yeah, kind of yeah, it's this, and this is new too. Right. Yeah. This is new, and it's ancient as well. Right. One of the things that I don't know, I kind of took a little pride in was the aesthetics of things. There's something about everything is connected. So this is the info session that we're in, and that's the little intro piece. And one of the things about it is, oopsie, sorry about that. It's a really reputable faculty from some of the top places for training in an integral way, right? A lot of these traditions come through the Esalen Institute, and they run into things like, you know, these places here. Somatic experiencing comes, you know, in some ways through that route to Malpa, you know, but it's really a wonderful faculty who teach at some of the top integrative places in the country. So it's 3 months. So here's some logistical details. It's 3 months. It's live. So it's live, and it starts Tuesday, kind of May 24th. So it's coming up pretty soon. So that's actually in 9 days, 10 days, 11 days, close. It's coming up. It's coming up. So yeah. Now the thing is, if you can't make it live, there's video and audio recordings that are available to download and watch anytime. Okay. So you'll have those available to you, and you can review them. And then we have a really lovely community site. I think some of you have already found your way on there. And that's where you can either asynchronously connect with people, continue to work over the material and find practice partners and all that. Okay. So, so this is just a notion that, trauma is challenging, trauma is difficult. It's hard for us to work with it sometimes. And sometimes it still lingers years after the event, right? So, but there is another way other than just talking about it, right? Instead of getting people to think their way out, what this program is about is listening to the wisdom of the body, a lost capacity for self-expression, right? It's like when we're traumatized, sometimes the body goes numb, right? Sometimes we lose our capacity to express ourselves. There's that. There's something actually called Broca's area, right? That turns off during trauma. So we can't express ourselves. And so what trauma healing is, it's about almost listening to these little things that were kind of like lost and forgotten, right? And helping them find their way back to us, right? Like, okay, this is a part of my body, right? That I'm not going to let myself feel, or this is a voice that I have, maybe a sad voice, right? That I'm not going to let anybody see, right? But if I can start to listen to my body, right? To become still, to listen, then we can start to rediscover these lost, forgotten parts. Sometimes we call this the felt sense, interoceptive experience, but these voices can come back to us and return somehow, right? And we can become whole again, okay? So yeah, there's a question. We can share the link to the info website. Yeah, for sure. No worries. Okay, thanks. Yeah. So that's and so that's the objective, right? How do we become still? How do we start to learn to listen to what's inside? Okay. So we do that in this program through a bunch of different ways. Like some of it's brain science, right? Like, okay, we want to learn neurobiologically what's going on, and then we want to learn how to release trauma memories that are trapped in the body, trapped in the unexpressed voices inside. Okay, so that's the overall objective. And we want to get practical skills, right? So how do we get the practical skills to help and to work with those who have trauma, chronic stress, or to do our own work so that we can become better, deeper helpers? Okay, so that's the objective. And here's some of the nitty gritty, right? So let me just quickly shift my pen because maybe a brighter color would be better. Yeah. Okay. So some of the nitty gritty is, okay. So there'll be, see if I can, okay. Yeah. So there's dedicated teachers in the field. I'm basically the anchor, right? I'm teaching the main foundations of trauma class, anchoring that, and then present throughout. But these are people who are lifelong teachers in the field. And then there's 4 foundational core skills classes. There's Foundations of Trauma Therapy. There's Art-Based Interventions for Healing Trauma, and that's Kamara Rajabari is anchoring that class. And then Somatic Trauma Therapy, and Sue Martin is anchoring that class. And then there's Further Techniques and Applications of Trauma Therapy, and there's myself, and then a number of really respected and excellent trauma faculty that we have there. each week, there's 3 hours of course instruction and then an optional 1 hour per week of structured practice time. Basically, at the end of each class, we meet twice a week. There's a half hour where you can practice with your colleagues, your clients, or practice clients. And yeah, it's organized so that you can get practice time in then, okay? If you prefer, you can also do practice outside of class or outside of that half-hour class time, but we just wanted to build it in so that you could get some of that if you wanted it. And so you can practice with classmates in your student community. We're learning to work with trauma from a whole person perspective. And then at the end, you'll earn a core skills trauma certificate after you complete 10 core skill practice sessions. Okay, so you have to complete 10 practice sessions, and you have until October. That was one of the questions that some people asked. You have until 2 months after. So you have until October 18th, 2022 to complete the 10 core skills practice sessions. So that's yeah, that's how that is an overview. That's how that kind of fits together. At the end of the program, this is what you'll get. So you'll get a roadmap for how to work with trauma. Okay, you'll learn how to resource and stabilize your clients, right? If they're entering into a flashback or a dissociative state, you'll learn how to identify and process trauma memories. Lots of somatic, holistic, arts-based approaches. We'll talk about trauma polyvagal theory. Yeah, and then there's this interesting thing, and Lily, good question, and I'll show you in just a sec. But you'll develop the inner quality of embodied presence, which is so important for trauma work, right? Sometimes it's who we are as much as what we do. And then there's kind of these art-based interventions, and then a lot of these other things, how to use symbolic thinking, dance movement, dream work, ecotherapy. So there's a lot. Okay, so yeah, Lily had a good question about how do we document the 10 sessions. So yeah, that's a good question, and I imagine that's a question that might be shared by some people. So why don't I go ahead and, I don't know, show you, well, maybe I'll show you later. Okay, but we do have, there's basically a little form that you'll fill, or whenever you work with a practice client, at the end of the session, a practice, oh, hey, Mariasha, oh my God, look at you. This is one of our other faculty, yeah. I'm just so excited to see you. Okay, should I keep going? Do we, okay, I'll just keep going. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so at the end of each practice session, so you'll do a practice session, your practice client will do a evaluation. So you'll get them to fill out an evaluation of you. It's basically rating you, and we can go over the actual form in just in a little bit, but it's basically what skill did the person practice, right? And how did they do, right? Did they show presence? Were they empathic? Did they seem connected, right? So that's basically how that's documented. It's documented by the evaluation that your practice client prepares or compiles, and we'll keep tabs on that because we're able to kind of mark and track things. And it's also helpful for us in case something is going a little bit off the rails, right? If we see an evaluation that comes in, it's like, oh, okay, well, we need to pop in for a moment. But mostly, I mean, most people are going to be fine with that. But it's a way of both keeping tabs and also kind of helping you document and learn and practice. Okay, so that's basically it, and I can show you the form later on, but that's it. Okay, so yeah, so is that good, Lily? Yes, I'm assuming yes. Okay, I see nods. Okay, good. Yeah. hello, hello from all around. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, wow. So I guess there's people who are here who are trainers, trainees, I guess. Okay, there's another question. Can we do that independently or at our own convenience, or are there set times? Yeah, okay, so that's another good question. Prajinta asks, can we do them independently at our own convenience? Yes, and so yes, you can. So if you're not able to, and that's one of the reasons why we structured it this way, because some people, I mean, I think actually a number of people, a lot of the Australians contingent in Western Australia, like contingent, they're like, I want to take this class or this program, but it's like 3 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever it is. And the truth is, so you can take the class, but you can schedule your practice times and your sessions at your own convenience, right? So like the material will be presented, and there'll be kind of, if you are live, you can do it kind of in the aftermath of the live class. But I think for most people, even the people who are taking it live, you probably want to kind of practice or schedule sessions with other people, in your own time, or kind of outside of the formal after session class time. Okay. So yeah, you can totally do it with like quote unquote practice clients. So these should be people who, are you have some kind of connection with or rapport. I wouldn't practice on actual clients because, like if you're kind of seeing clients, it's like you're just still learning and you're actually asking them to evaluate you. So it's somebody who you have, maybe a colleague or somebody who you feel comfortable with. So a couple other questions. How long does each practice session need to be? 1 hour per session. Actually, so, okay, the questions are coming in fast and furious here. So how long does each practice session need to be? Okay, so they don't have to be a full hour session, okay? It can be as short as 15 to 25 minutes, right? Just to get, like maybe there's a specific skill, which is like practicing being grounded and centered as you're with the client, right? That's a skill, right? And that doesn't have to be a full hour. You might practice multiple skills at a given time, right? So it could be as short as 15 to 25 minutes. If you did want to do like a full 50-minute hour session, you can totally do that. Yeah, yeah, that's the practice session parameters, okay? 10 different clients. No, you don't have to have 10 different clients. It can be, I think there's learning to be had from working with different clients, but there's also learning to be had from working with the same person, right, over like an extended series. So you don't have to have 10 different clients. I would encourage you to at least try 10 different techniques, right? So don't just do the same kind of skill every single time, but yeah, you can, work with, some people choose to just find one person to do all the different practice sessions with, and that's totally fine. Okay, yeah, and hey from the UK, all right. You can use the same, yes, you can use the same person for multiple practices. So that's right, Tanya, you can totally do that. Okay. Okay, so lots of questions about the practice session. So hopefully that answers that. Okay. Do I want them recorded? No, you don't have to record them. If you do want specific feedback on them, and are willing to post them kind of in the public, I don't know, we have a private, it's not public, but it's like a private for our cohort thing. You could do that. But yeah, they don't have to be recorded. These are just for you. And also kind of sometimes kind of recording is a little bit like there's a recording and we get nervous as we do that. So, but yeah, but we have a community site, which I wanted to get off of Facebook just for a lot of reasons, but it's a really lovely community site that we have, and it's available for us to use for all those kinds of ways of working. And even as you were sharing your story, I could see, because I have people on gallery view, just nods like around and care around. And I wish I could give you like a yes, no answer, right, to that, right? And the truth is, and I think this is part of why a lot of us come into this profession, is because there are people who we love who we wish we could help and heal. And sometimes we have a hard time doing that. So, the truth is, I don't have a, yes, this will be the magic pill that kind of gives you the tools to finally help the person that you want to help. I think it'll potentially give a little bit of a roadmap, right? A little bit more of a roadmap. But I think one of the challenges sometimes coming to peace with the limits of what we can do too, and so I think that's a piece of it. But I think I also want to say, and this is just kind of a larger question, just pedagogically, that just in part because, I don't know, this is an educational program. We want to educate the best we can. The intent. I'm not able to really give specific individualized supervision about individual kind of therapeutic, concerns or considerations. But yeah, but for sure, kind of appreciate your heart and your spirit. Mariasha, you had your hand up. Do you want to kind of chime in here? Yeah.
I do. You can tell me if I'm going in the wrong direction.
No.
But first of all, thank you so much for sharing, Mark. And my sense is that when we do these types of trainings, really a lot of what we learn is how to regulate ourselves. And that so much supports the people that we are around, even if they are not in a place for direct change or for us to be doing something directly. Just us learning how to hold space alone is super meaningful and really helpful.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, Mariasha. Mariasha, for those of you who don't recognize her from the main site, is one of our beloved associate faculty. Yeah. So yeah, and I think, I guess what arises is that there's this kind of delicate balance between, anyways, kind of just learning these skills of co-regulation and then kind of becoming that anchor, right, for the people who we were intending to support and help, and so that's part of what we're going to hopefully support you in learning, right, in this curriculum. Okay, so yeah, so let me go ahead and keep forward with at least some of the curriculum. There's I guess there's lots on that, but let me just see if there's anything I need to jump to. Let's see. So just get organized here. Okay. So there's lots we could talk about in terms of like curricular details, but I guess just so there's 4 different classes that are the part of the foundations, and I gave these like Trauma 101, 102, 103, 104 names, right? So that's part of the curriculum. And so there's Trauma 101, the foundations course, and this course here is all about some of the deep background and learning and some of the theoretical things. So there's different concepts like CYBAM, different channels of experience that we have. There's going to be polyvagal mapping. There'll be looking at trauma as a shame bind. So lots of different modes and models that we'll be covering. Internal family systems, the structural dissociation model. Trauma 102 is all about arts-based interventions. So, working with expressive arts therapy, how art accesses trauma and helps us contain it and and move through it in ways sometimes when the body isn't accessible, right? It connects us with our unconscious sometimes. And, working with creativity, healing ancestral trauma, working with mandalas to help heal trauma. So there's a lot of different art modalities that will be covered. This is somatic trauma therapy. So just as Mariasha was discussing, there's the whole, how do we become a co-regulatory agent, right, for others, right? How do we slow down and just be present with them? How do we make what is immobilized mobile, right? That's what trauma is. Sometimes it freezes us into a certain kind of position, right? So, how do we complete the arousal cycle? Things get interrupted during trauma. How do we work with dissociation and fragmentation? Okay, so there's lots of different modes of working there. And then the trauma therapy, that this is just further techniques and applications. So, so this is a mixture of many different things, but this is kind of the developmental kind of model is really important. So how do we work with childhood trauma, right? How do we think the way a child thinks and heal in the language of kind of symbols, right? Working with dreams to help heal trauma. Sometimes that's what nightmares are, unprocessed trauma, right? So sometimes we can work with dreams to help us heal. Creative expression, dance movement approaches. Mariasha will be leading that section. How do we use movement to rediscover our self and our capacity to find agency and expression in our full being, right? Ecotherapy and trauma. Sometimes nature is what heals us. Kind of, we become dissociated from our inner nature, but sometimes we can look to the natural world to help us find our place in our space and our interconnectedness again. We'll be giving time for community practice. We'll be doing some live demos. And there'll also be a section about bringing the work into the world. How do you want to do that? Okay. Let's see, this is some of our faculty. So I guess we have, you heard the wonderful kind of grounded, humble, and I don't know, heartful voice of Mariasha Katz here. So this is Mariasha. She's one of our faculty. We have a number of other great faculty on board. These are people who I know and trust and believe in, who have taught for me in my programs in the past. And I know most of the people are on this call because of me, because you know me. But I have to say, like, these other folks, I mean, I'm pretty good, but I would say, like, I mean, you just saw what Mariasha did right there, right? Just in terms of like being able to hold and contain and hear like students and faculty. So all of these people are amazing, right? Sheila Rubin, Bill Say, so Angela Porter I've known for decades. Patricia was on faculty with me at CIIS. So all of these people are amazing. Let me just, since we have the grace of having you here, Mariasha, maybe we'll just take a beat and let you say a quick, I don't know, you kind of did say hello, but you didn't, like, it was in the context of trying to kind of, would you just want to just say a quick hello and just hi or anything? Yeah, let's bring you on.
Yeah, of course. I didn't practice anything ahead of time, but I'm so excited about this project. I feel like, I'll be honest, I just moved from Minneapolis. I lived in the neighborhood where the uprising occurred a couple of years ago. And so trauma between that, the uprising and the pandemic has been kind of the heartbeat. And yesterday I was devastated to learn about yet another shooting. So what I will say is that we need you. We need all of you. And clearly, whatever has been happening in the world needs more resources. And so I believe in this program and that this program is really going to add on individual levels, but also on collective and community levels. And so I'm excited to see so many people here and really excited to get to work with all of you soon.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mariage. It's so well said, right? Kind of, and the world needs us, right? We need us, right? And it's hard to do it alone. So yeah, so delighted, so happy to have you here, Mariage, and lots of hearts. I see hearts coming up around. So yeah, thanks. Okay, so yeah, this is our faculty. I couldn't do it without them, and yeah, it takes a village, right? So yeah, so let's see. So these are just a little bit more details. So this curriculum takes place during the, I guess, when I wrote this, I thought summer session, then I realized like, okay, there's folks in the Southern Hemisphere who are participating, but it's May 24th to August 18th, right? Everything's recorded, practice time is built in, and then the deadline to complete practice sessions is October 18th, right? So that's that. The way it's structured, the actual schedule is Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Pacific, okay? Oops, and then there's 30 minutes practice after, optional, okay? So you don't have to do that. If you want to practice on your own with your own practice clients, you can do that, but you know, it's sometimes nice right after to integrate, okay? So, you know, but you'll have that option available for you. We'll have TAs kind of who are helping support that practice session. Yeah, okay. And you can practice your skills during that class right after if you want, and then help also earn credit towards your core skills certificate. This is, I guess, the formal schedule. I'll send everybody this handout, or I'll give everybody this to download afterwards. There's just a lot of information here, but it's basically the schedule kind of week by week or day by day, right? Kind of, it's a Tuesday, Thursday-ish schedule, right? Tuesday, Thursdays schedule that we go through. And then, you know, so it's the Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it's a lot, but so these are the different classes. And then I guess the last week, let's see, we have integration and then graduation and closure, okay? So this is just reflecting and harvesting and graduation and closure. Oh, let's see, there's some questions here. Initially was considering taking the 3-year somatic experiencing course. You got an email. What makes this different from the 3-year somatic experiencing program? Good question. Well, yeah, hard to say. I mean, I think there's a lot of, I mean, I think they're good programs. I think SE is a reputable program. It's a good program. It's a classic program. Peter Levine was a student of kind of Dick Price, Dick Olney. They come through the Esalen tradition. So a lot of these are very similar, at least in their format, right? I would say this is more integrative, and this also includes channels that aren't just the body, because one of the most challenging things is like, okay, you learn all these body-based skills, and we're going to learn body-oriented skills within this curriculum, but sometimes for some people, the body isn't the right point of entry, right? Sometimes it's something more like, you know, you have to work with art, right, or expression, you know. So I think this is a more holistic, integrative approach as opposed to strictly body-oriented. So that might be a distinguishing aspect. If we can't make it to this cohort, will that be a next course? That's one of the most significant, frequently asked questions. You know, so we haven't made plans, I guess, yet. That doesn't mean it's not going to happen, but we just haven't kind of done that yet. You know, so it's definitely possible that there'll be a next cohort. It probably won't be for another year, but but there might be a different kind of cohort. Yeah, good question, Maribel. So a little bit of an unknown. Question from Despina. The optional practice sessions, could some of us schedule it before the class and make it official because it is going to be pretty late for Greece? Oh, okay, yeah. If you wanted to, like, before class starts, kind of come in and practice. I mean, you can totally schedule, like you are welcome to schedule your own practice sessions like as you want, right? So we'll have a community site where you can like coordinate with people, you know, wherever they are in the world, in the UK, in Greece, in Turkey, you know, wherever, right? And hopefully we're going to make it pretty easy to find people and, you know, make sure that you are able to practice, and you can practice before class if you want, right? Absolutely, right? It'll be late, very late. Yes, I hear that. So, okay, yeah. So yeah, you can schedule practice sessions in your own time, however you want, right? Could I show the beginnings of the scheduled dates calendar again? Yeah, sure. So it's basically, I'll just write it here. So the dates are May 24th to August 18th, right? Okay, so those are the dates, and it's basically, let's see, I lost my pen here. Okay, yeah, Tuesdays, Thursdays at 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. and that's Pacific time. Okay, so, all right. Let's see. Okay, hello there. Okay, and great. Yeah, we'll do that with other Europeans. Yeah, there's quite a bunch of, yeah. Okay, how do you, there's somebody sent me something privately. How do you distinguish this program from learning actual therapy? Okay, so this is, I would say, in some ways you're learning therapeutic techniques or techniques that could be implemented in a therapeutic setting. A lot of the people who are taking the program are going to be therapists, but a lot depends upon kind of your particular background. Sometimes this can be useful if you're working in a coaching setting, right, or other kinds of helping settings. So a lot of that is going to be the program. The emphasis of the program is kind of experiential training of people who are in the helping professions, right? Yeah, so on some level, it's taken from kind of therapeutically inspired curriculum, but I think it has broader applicability. Okay, yeah, and thanks, Pauline, for typing in the schedule there. So let's keep going here. Let's see. So in terms of course content, so you can either attend live or via recording, right? We'll show you the learning platform Somatopia. Yeah, and in just a moment, and Mariash is absolutely right. Like, kind of trauma-informed teaching is hugely important nowadays, trauma-informed education all around, right? So there'll be an online learning platform. And that'll house your orientation, the student handbook, the detailed class schedule, how to access all classes on Zoom. Class recordings will be available within 24 hours of the end of the live event, so you'll have quick access to it. We'll have a student orientation, which is May 24th. That's the first day of class, okay, at 1 o'clock. Okay, so that'll be, kind of just making sure that everybody's kind of on board and knows where everything is and connecting, right? And yeah, how to utilize the learning platform. We'll also go over community agreements like confidentiality, kind of mutual respect, things like that, and then the structure of the program. And then, yeah, this is a repeat. Okay, October 18th is the deadline. So it's 10 core skill practice sessions, and then a little self-evaluation. So that's basically, just a reflection about kind of what you've learned during the time, and maybe what your edges are, areas for future growth. This is an ongoing process, right? It's a destination. Oh, it's not a journey. It's not a destination. It's a journey. It's a journey, not a destination. Thank you. And thanks for your good humor with that. And yeah, and I think somebody asked the question before, but just to reiterate, you can work either with members of the cohort, right, or willing practice clients outside of class. So that's fine too, right? Okay. So make sure like you get their informed consent and all that. But yeah, so you can do that as well. Okay, and then we have a closing ceremony, right? That's Thursday, August 18th, the last day of class. And you're going to be given an opportunity to share your experience in community. And family, friends, and loved ones are invited to attend. You know, and this can be like we study, we do the work, and then we kind of bring it out back into the world, right? You know, and where are we moving from here, right? So that's the shape of that. Okay, so let's see. I think, oh, okay, yeah. And then a lot of this is repetitive, but okay, to get your certificate, kind of, you gotta either attend live or watch the recordings. Either of those is fine. And then 10 practice sessions and the self-evaluation, then you got your certificate. I think, let's see, are you allowing, are you allowing us to do more than 10 core skill practices so we can experience all of them? Yeah, absolutely. You can do as many as you want. I mean, there are some people, you know, who might do 11 or 12 or 15 or, you know, however many, right? I guess the practice makes, I don't know if perfect is the right word, but it works it into your body and your being and your bones. Okay. So, thanks, Pauline, for posting the tuition fee details. So you can go to the link if you're wanting to know more about that. And then, let's see, other frequently asked questions. Okay, can I benefit even if I miss? Absolutely, yes. The live classes, you got the recordings. Can you tell me about the private online community group? And yes, why don't I show you rather than just tell you about that? And the last question a lot of people ask is it eligible for continuing education? And yeah, we're eligible for 24 hours of continuing ed. Okay, so continuing ed credit for people who are in the mental health care profession. So you can, we can give you more info about that, but we are available for continuing ed. So let's see, could I expand on the structure and pacing of the program? Yeah, right. So you've taken other mind-body courses that seemed heavy on the didactic side and less experiential. You're hoping for something more experiential. Yeah. So let me try and pick up that question. So yeah, you know, one of the things I love about the philosophy of JFK, Esalen, CIS also I think is included within that category. Is you need both, right? You need both understanding kind of and knowledge, but you also need felt understanding, right? So that's fundamental and foundational. So I think the faculty that I have chosen get that and believe that, right? It's not just kind of learning or reading about, but it's kind of experiencing and feeling, learning from the inside out. So that's one of the central cores of this. Okay, and let's see. It looks like there was a question that I might have missed above. How will the certificate be seen in other circles, community healing circles? That's a good question. And I think it depends, I guess, on the healing circle or the community. I think, I think one of the things that I think is true is my hope is that the work at the end of this curriculum is in you, so you don't need a piece of paper that people say, oh, you have a certificate therefore, right? But that by the practice of being in this curriculum, that there's some hopeful metamorphosis that occurs inside you, so that there's, just a deepening, so that it's not like, oh, you have that certificate, you're probably blank. It's like, oh, what happened? What happened to you? I don't know if it'll be as dramatic as that, but it was like, oh, okay, we need help, and you're here. Like you're able to show up in a different way, and so at least I think that would be true. I mean, within the APA community, there's continuing education. So I think it really varies community to community, right? Within the psychology community, if you want to get the continuing education units, you can get their certificate and get your continuing education, right? So that's how it's kind of viewed there. It's viewed kind of with that level of respect, and but I think that's a very community by community kind of answer. Okay, so let's see. So what I think we'll do, and I apologize, we're running a little bit over. So if anybody needs to leave, I totally, kind of respect you and God, blessings. But let me just go ahead and show you what the actual site looks like. Let's see. So let's go to Somatopian. There's a couple different parts to this. Okay. So, and let me go to my library and actually make it so that it's a little bit more viewable. So if you choose to enroll, and we hope you do join us, but so you'll have a library, and there's a little kind of basically it'll be housed here, and I'm going to zoom out on it just so you can see. All right, so here's, this is the zoomed out version of it, but basically there's the, hold up, didn't want to zoom out that much. Okay. So there'll be, this is the library basically, and you'll have your little calendar, and you'll be able to see when your next class is. It changes automatically as per your time zone, which I think was a cool little trick. And you can get into your live Zoom class here, and then you'll have basically all of the details that you need, right? So kind of here's your welcome, and then it's kind of organized, and you can walk through it piece by piece. There's a little student enrollment form. We gather info about you, but basically this is the main library and hub, right? And then once you the class is finished and recorded, then it'll show up in either kind of whatever course section it is supposed to go into, right? So that's where that is. I guess one of the things about this is there's the student evaluation form. So somebody asked about that. So you find it here, and this is what it looks like basically. So student evaluation, to be filled out by the practice client. So here's the different skills that we'll be learning, right? So a lot of different skills depending on your class. And so basically you'll get your practice client to fill out this form. You'll tell them basically which skill you're practicing, right? And they'll mark the skill, and they'll also rate you on, do you have presence? Do you have empathy? Are you connected with yourself? Were you connected with them? Were you non-judgmental, supportive? And then, how did they do with the skill? And then, for the practice client, what did you learn about yourself? And did you experience any healing or breakthrough? So that's how that works. And then let me also take you to community, which I think is kind of a cool little thing. So we have a community. This is our community. It's familiar kind of organizationally in terms of it might look a little bit like kind of a Facebook-ish form, but so this is our space to connect with each other. There are people who are already saying hello in the group. I don't want to, because it is private, I want to respect people's confidentiality, right? I'm not going to show everything, but there's places and spaces where you can have conversations. You can organize your practice sessions, right? And then we have a progress log. So basically each person will be invited to keep tabs of their progress, right? And you know, any challenges that you might have or learnings that you're gathering. So you'll have a progress log, which if you like, you can keep publicly and other people can chime in or support you or cheer you on or, you know, make comments. So, so that's, I think that's the shape of what we've got. So let me just see if there's any questions. Okay, so if there's, okay. If this is redundant, for those who are not practicing licensed therapists, what are the ethics of practice sessions? Who do you remember practicing with? Yeah, so what I would recommend is, you know, practice with somebody who you feel comfortable with, who's not themselves in a acute trauma state, right? Who's relatively resource supported, balanced, right? Who you have rapport with, who isn't really doing it because they need trauma therapy, right? You know, you're doing it with somebody else who, you know, you could do it with a fellow student, right? I think would be a wonderful way to participate, you know, and so you can work with somebody else who's in the class is great, or somebody else who you feel safe with, who you trust, who isn't in a kind of acute state, or who needs it, who needs it in order to kind of make it through, right? Okay, who's not going to get kind of destabilized. Okay, so let's see. Will we address remote therapy? I think there's a section in Kamara's class where kind of we talk about remote therapy, and you know, it is remote, right? Well, a lot of what we do is remote. So on some level, it is built in, right, to the curriculum, because it's how we're processing and teaching, and a lot of the demos will be done remote. Okay, so you know, and if there's specific questions about that, we'll be happy to address those as they arise. Apologize for joining late. Is it all live or online recorded, and cost? Okay, so there's a yeah, I think people are answering. So thank you for the collective. It takes a village, right? So yeah, so there's answers in the chat. Super excited by this program. Yeah, super excited to have you. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, so if one is doing a practice session out of group, how will they have access to the evaluation form? Yeah, you can send it to them easily. Yeah, no problem. You can totally do that. It's easy to do. And I think, let me just see if there's any other questions. Submit an app for a scholarship. When will we? Yeah. Okay. So the truth is that more people have applied for scholarships than we have funds available, but we'll do what we can. You know, basically just to make the finances work, you know, for every about 10 people who, you know, kind of pay at the supporter level, we're able to offer one full scholarship. But you know, but we'll try and get back to you as soon as you can. We can, Jenny. But thank you for asking. Okay, let's see. Okay, are there any prerequisites? You know, that's a good question. So, so the truth is, you need to yourself not be in a kind of acute trauma state, right? You need to not be. You need to be able to regulate yourself on a basic level, right? So if you find yourself, sometimes I talk about the hurting, healing, and helping stages, right? That people are in. So if you're in the hurting stage, right? You know, God bless, and you know, we want you to get the support you need, right? And it's probably not the right time to take this curriculum, right? Come back, like move through that stage till you're kind of a little bit past that hurting stage into kind of the next stage, which I call like the healing stage, right? The healing and then helping stage, because you know, and I've been there myself for sure. I've been in the hurting stage, but I wasn't ready to kind of try and hold other people, because that was a time when I just needed to be held, right? So in terms of that, what I would say, if you feel like you're in maybe the hurting stage of your process, right? we'll ask you to kind of wait until you're a little bit through that and into the kind of more in the healing stage and able to be in the healing helping stage. Now it's not completely linear, right? So it's, we're always kind of a little bit of each, but I think there could be some general guidelines. Okay. So, okay. So any last questions? When will the next cohort start after the summer program? So that is like the biggest question, isn't it? Right. And I wish I had the answer. I hear the longing and the interest. So the short answer to that, Kristen, is we haven't made plans yet, but it sounds like there are a lot of people who want it. So we'll check back with us and we'll try and get that answered to you soon. Okay. All right. Okay. Wow. That felt like quite a ride. Quite a ride. So thank you all for being here, for staying over. We weren't supposed to go this long, but it seemed like such a full, rich group. Look forward to meeting you soon. Registration closes May 22nd, 11:59 p.m. So kind of get your place if you're interested in it. And thank you so much. Yeah, it's super exciting. I so look forward to joining, to you being part of this community. Right? Yeah. Look forward to starting class soon. Okay. Thank you. Blessings and be well. Right. Yeah. Look forward to meeting you soon. Okay. Take good care. Yeah. Bye. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Yeah. Good to see you. Yeah. See you around. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Great. So, yay. Okay. Bye. Bye, everyone. Yeah. Did you have a question, or were you just? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please, if you have a question, or you want to unmute yourself, or you're just waving goodbye. Can't hear you. You're muted, Erwin. Erwin.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, I just wanted to tell you that everything that is in sync with your neurobiological regulation already transfers. You're energetically just very much, it transfers so beautifully. So I understand how you set the vibratory accord or the tone for all of us to really jump in and heal at that high accord level. So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel so touched hearing that. Yeah, thank you. It's like it's all us together, right? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Prajinta, you had a question. The total cost. Sorry. Yeah. So I think. Yes. Yeah. So there's a link to, I guess, the fee structure. I think so. So we work on a sliding scale basis. So the full fee, I think, is $987 for the full fee. The kind of the sustainer level is $879, and I think the reduced fee is $767. Yeah. So that's the rates. Yeah. And it's available. Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Is there a deadline to sign up?
Yeah, so May 22nd is the registration deadline. Yeah.
May 22nd. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sure. Okay, great. Okay. A cool cucumber. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, so let's see. Any other questions?
There are no more questions. Maybe I'll go ahead and stop the recording.
Yeah, please. Yeah, great. Wonderful. All right.